Kia ora, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of The Drop Clutch with me, Ricky V. In the series, I'm interviewing as many metal drummers from around New Zealand as I can get to, just to get some insight into what makes these guys and girls tick. Now, tonight's guest is a fantastic all-round musician. He is the drummer for Natal Abortion, who I got to see at the most recent Napier Death Metal Fest, and they were fucking outstanding. He's also the drummer for Down with the System, a System of a Down cover system, a covers band, and bass player and vocalist for Mysanthropy, which is a death covers band. I have Matthew Coates. Matthew, how we doing, bro?
Fucking fantastic, man. Good talking to you.
And great talking to you, bro. So to get us started, Matthew, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your history? Give us a bit of a rundown, please.
All right, man. Yeah, I might as well go way back then. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I would watch my father and my grandfather play the piano a lot. So I got into piano when I was really young, and I took piano lessons in primary school. And then around when I was 9 or 10 years old, I started picking up acoustic guitar. And shortly after that, my parents bought me a beginner's drum kit. And I took drum lessons in high school while also playing guitar, and also learnt bass around this time as well. And pretty much ever since around 2010, I've been jamming with friends of mine, just practicing, itching to get on stage and perform. And now I'm doing that in these bands that you've mentioned, and it's fucking great, man. And yeah, it's awesome. Good feeling, man.
Oh, fantastic. So something a little bit different that I've not asked before that I now wish that I had of. Can you tell us about your setup, about your live performing drum kit, please?
I basically got 2 high toms, 1 floor tom, 2 crashes on either side, rides, a china in the corner, double kicks. That's pretty much it. Just a very standard kind of Dave Lombardo setup, I guess you'd say, without the twin kick drums.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much just fairly standard stuff, really. Not a huge amount of cymbals or any interesting stuff like that. Pretty simple, really.
Sure. Fair cool, man. Can you tell us what your warm-up is, whether it's for practice or a show? Do you even have a warm-up?
Not really. My go-to generally is just to do the skank beat or like blast beats, or like just drum rolls going between the toms and the snare drum kind of thing. All pretty simple, really.
Okay, well, can you tell us who some of your favorite drummers are and whose style has influenced your playing the most?
Totally, man. So in terms of style, mainly 80s, late 80s to early 90s death metal / thrash metal. Bands like Death, for example. Death were a huge influence on me. I've listened to so much Death now that it's kind of boring, which is unfortunate when you listen to a band that much that it's now boring. But yeah, I mainly drum like late 80s, early 90s style death metal / thrash metal. So very much of that era. Gene Hoglan, Dave Lombardo, those kind of players, really.
Sure. Great inspirations to draw from. Absolutely. So speaking of inspirations, can you tell us what your favorite drum performance that you've seen live is?
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I really can't answer that question. I've no idea.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of good bands over the years, so it's kind of hard to compare. But I did just go to the Suffocation show the other weekend in Wellington, and I got to talk to Derek Boyer and Terence Hobbs, which was I was starstruck. They're not drummers, but I think their newest drummer, who I'm not sure who he is, I'm more aware of Mike Smith, the original drummer. But sure. I think the drummer that I just saw did a fucking fantastic job. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but I'd definitely put him up there.
Okay, fantastic. Cool, fair enough. Well, I unfortunately didn't get to go, but yeah, I know Suffocation, man. They're fucking dope. So I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
whoever their drummer is did a fantastic job.
oh hell
Now,
yeah.
speaking of difficult questions, this one has been fairly hard for pretty much everybody to answer, which is why I keep asking it. Matthew, how would you describe your style?
I don't think it's too hard to answer. I think pretty much what I said before. It's mainly very late, like 80s, early 90s style thrash slash death metal. You know, lots of skank beats, lots of blast beats, lots of double kicks, lots of kind of Portnoy rolls, that kind of thing. A lot of Dave Lombardo kind of rolls.
Sure.
Um, I'd say that's my style. Yeah, I've always been a big thrash metal head. I love my 80s thrash metal, love my early old school death metal shit. So yeah, that's where I draw most of my inspiration from, for sure.
Fantastic. Now, your originals band is Postnatal Abortion.
Yeah,
Um,
bro.
can you tell us what the writing process is for that band?
Oh yeah, man. So that's actually pretty easy. It's real easy for me because Ethan writes pretty much 90% of the riffs, and he just plays the riffs, and I just write the drum beats to his riffs, and we talk about it as a group. And Kels might be like, "Oh, you should do that hammer blast in this section, and do the double kicking in this section," and I'll be like, "Yeah, nah," or "Yeah, I should." So yeah, mainly it's just Ethan playing guitar, and I'll be drumming to his guitar playing, and that's pretty much how we write the music. And Kels and Damo do write some riffs, drum, bass lines occasionally, but it's mostly Ethan writing the material. So I just drum to him and make it sound like it fits, you know.
Sure. Now, tell us, is there a specific technique that you are practicing or working on improving at the moment?
Yeah, double kicks for sure. I've been blast beating for over 10 years now, so I'm quite familiar with blast beats. But in terms of fast double kicking, you know, Angel of Death style, that kind of shit, it's quite tricky, man. I can kick fairly consistently around 180, 190 beats per minute, but much faster than that, and my legs start giving out. So I'm mainly focusing on that at the moment.
Sure.
But there's always like the more you know, the more you learn, the more there is to learn, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Fuck yeah. Some people really don't give a fuck. I happen to be one that does. Is there with your double kicks, is there a specific technique that you are trying to learn, whether it's swivel or ankle, or are you just doing what comes?
I'm doing single strokes at the moment with a slight swivel. A couple months back, for the Death Fest when Mysanthropy played, I was talking to Stephen Bernstein at the jam pad, and I
Fuck
was
yeah,
asking him,
Stephen
"Hey, bro,
Bernstein.
yeah, man, I fucking
Fuck
love that
yeah.
cunt, man.
I fucking
Such
love
an
that cunt.
outlandish drummer, bro." But yeah, we were practicing the Death stuff for the Death Fest, and I hit him up and I'm like, "Bro, how do you heel toe?" And he started explaining it to me, and then he looks at me and he's like, "Oh, I don't think I should be telling you that." So he was showing me some secret stuff, but yeah, like I get the idea of it. It's just more the muscle memory and the practice. So
Oh
I'll
yeah.
eventually get around to that kind of thing when I get like my triggers, and I'm kind of getting around to getting that stuff now. So yeah, just building up double kick speed, really.
Sure. Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we move on to a game I call First, Last, Best, and Worst. So this is where you tell us about the very first show that you ever played, what the last gig that you had was, what the best show that you've played was. Now that's open to interpretation. We'll get that in a second. And also the worst show that is kind of similar. So to start us off, Matthew, what was the first show that you ever got to play?
Well, in 2013, I did the EIT live performance music course, and that was really my first live music experience. And fuck, what a great course. I was always quite a shy, introverted person back then. So performing up on stage was like a big fucking ordeal for me back then. But yeah, like I fucking crave it now. But yeah, it would have been around that time. I can't really remember exactly what I was doing, but yeah, my first live performance would have been at the IT course. Can't remember too much more about that. Sorry. Last performance was Postnatal Abortion and Down with the System with a Werewolves at the Paisley stage in Napier. I think that was around a month ago.
Sure.
And yeah, it was real good, really good. A Werewolves a killer. Love that band. Always good to be jamming with those cats.
Just a sidetrack for a second. So
Yep.
I've played at the Cabana multiple times in various bands over the years, but I've never actually got to play at the Paisley. I have heard of it. Can you tell us a bit about the Paisley? Just because I don't know.
Cool, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot kind of bigger. It's very comfy. There's a lot of couches. So if you want to sit down and watch, you can sit down and watch. It's fuck, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just comfy, man, and it's a lot wider, the higher ceiling. JR does the sound, and JR is a local luthier here in Hawke's Bay, and he knows what he's doing when it comes to sound. So if you ever get a chance to play at the Paisley, man, the sound quality is just amazing. And he'll often record your shows for you if you flick him like a small amount of money, and he'll record it through the desk for you and send you the files. So he's a
Yeah.
just an awesome dude, man. Very chill character. Yeah, very talented guy. So yeah, I'd highly recommend if you haven't been there, man, check it out. It's a great venue, great place.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you. So the next one was the best show that you've ever played. Now, this can be, the best environment. It can be with the best bands. It can be you played the best. It can be the, best people hanging around. Like it's really open to interpretation. But what's the best show that you think you've ever played?
Well, I've had a lot of really good shows, but I reckon the Death Fest that just went earlier this year, man, I think that was awesome. Unfortunately, I had work on the Friday, so I couldn't make it to the first night, and I'm still gutted that I missed out on that. But yeah, on the second night, playing with Postnatal and Mysanthropy and seeing all the other bands, it was fucking amazing, bro. And I'd never seen Decimation Hammer before, but
Holy shit! Holy shit!
In the fuck? That was the most intense shit I've ever heard of my entire life, man. So, yeah, fucking killer, man. So good.
It's very rare that you see a band that suits the name, or a name that suits the band. But yeah, Decimation Hammer was perfect for them. Those guys blasts.
Yeah,
that guy, they're so powerful. How the fuck does he get that out of the snare? Eh? He must be
no idea, man. Nah, they were fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, fuck it up. All right, and then the last one is actually no. Before we get to that, fuck yeah, Roger Napier Death Metal Fest. That guy's worked fucking hard for ages, for years and years and years, and he's built something fucking really, prestigious is maybe not the right word, but in terms of the New Zealand metal scene and festivals that happen around, the Napier Death Metal Fest is definitely right up there for sure. 100%. So shout out to
man.
Roger.
Yeah, lots of love for Roger and Claude, man. Those guys are fucking awesome. Real chill cat. Yeah, love those guys, man.
Fuck yeah. So moving along is the worst show, worst moment, funniest thing that happened on stage, worst environment. Again, open to interpretation. Please.
Well, I have a great story, man. I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to ruin any reputations in the Hawke's Bay music community. But back in maybe 2016, 2017, me, my brother, well, I'll name my brother. My brother was a part of it. He lives in Wellington. Me, my brother, a friend of mine, and another friend of mine did a gig where we covered Altering the Future by Death, and we played 2 original songs that we had written together. And we decided it would be a good idea beforehand to drink whiskey in the car and basically drink as much whiskey as we could. And we didn't notice that the drummer has basically drunk twice as much whiskey as we had, and we were all pissed. So he was fucked. And we did this gig at the Cabana, and he was just not even in time, dropping his drumsticks like every 1 minute. It was fucking horrible, man. But it's actually still on the internet somewhere. I don't know where, but it's on there somewhere, and it's fucking hilarious, man. But definitely the worst show, man. We butchered that Death song, and it hurt my soul at the time. It was painful, but yeah, man, around that time somewhere, this random gig happened. I don't even want to name the band name that we came up with. We only had the one show, and that was it.
Sure, that's fair. Yeah, I feel like most musicians will have I drank too much, or I smoked too much, or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all got those stories, absolutely. So yeah, no, sympathies there. All right. So now we are moving along to very near the end of the show. But right now, this is an opportunity for you to make any plugs for any things that you've got coming out, and make any shout outs to any people that you want to make shout outs to. Matthew, sir, the floor is yours.
I have got a band coming up that Aram actually briefly touched on in his interview with you.
Oh,
he
true.
didn't name any names, but me, Aram, and a couple other mates of mine are starting up a band called Crate.
Okay.
And we're playing Sepultura Chaos AD-esque type originals.
Oh.
So I'm very excited about that.
Sure.
We've been jamming for about a year now. Me and Aram go way back. We were jamming together back in 2010, 2011. We started up a band project called Valor back then, and it didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, Aram's a good friend of mine, and yeah, he's an awesome dude. In terms of upcoming shows, Postnatal Abortion is playing at the Common Room in about a month. I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head because I'm ADHD as fuck. But yeah, look out for this new Crate shit, man. I'm keen to get this shit out there in the wild, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's Aaron Ross of Gunt.
Gunt, yeah, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dope. And was there any shout outs to any people?
Shout out to Roger and Claude of Horrendous and Corpse Feast, you fucking legends. Shout out to Stephen Bernstein. Thank you for drumming for my Death cover band, man. You're a fucking killer cunt. Shout out to Ethan and Kels and Damo of Postnatal. Shout out to Joseph and Hayden from Down with the System. And shout out to this old shithead.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man. Also, shout out to Mum and Dad. Love you guys, family. Yeah, man. You guys are all awesome.
Awesome. Now, very last thing is if people wanted to look up Postnatal Abortion, wanted to find you guys, is there anywhere they can go to do that?
Yeah, man, just Facebook. All of our bands are on Facebook, pretty much. Postnatal's also on Instagram, which I don't use. I'm a bit of a boomer, so I only use Facebook. But yeah, man, we're available on Instagram as well. Kels handles all that. Down with the System and Mysanthropy, all that stuff's on Facebook. So yeah, man, maybe search some of it up on YouTube. Some stuff will pop up if you type New Zealand next to it. Yeah, man, pretty simple, really.
Sure. Excellent. Wow. Matthew, thank you so much for being on my show, bro.
No worries, man. Brutal Hails, Hawke's Bay.
Fucking Brutal Hails, Wellington. Fucking Brutal Hails,
man.
Everybody. Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much to Matthew for being on my show. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Drop Clutch episode 21 with me, Ricky V. We'll see you next time.